So hello everyone. So today we'll be looking into the live demo of DVC with respect to data versioning. Okay, so let's start. So for that, one more thing. So I have already explained the conceptual understanding of how DVC works in general and what DVC is all about and why we need data versioning. Okay, so you can watch my previous videos, and today we'll be talking the live demo. Okay, implementation point of view. So let's start. So I would suggest you all to do or run these commands along with me so that we can have a better understanding at the end of the video. Okay. So as a prerequisite, there are two things basically. You should have a basic knowledge of how a Git command works, and also I'll be using GS bucket as a backend for data storage. So I'm expecting you have already configure GS util locally if you want to use GS bucket. Okay, so that using GS util we can access GS bucket locally. Okay, so that's the prerequisite, but don't worry if you don't have that configured. You can use even a Google Drive for that. Nothing specific configuration needed, or you can even give the local path, local file storage path. Okay, so I will tell how to do that one. So let's start basically, guys. So I have opened Anaconda prompt, and let me activate the environment. So let me activate MLOps. Okay, so now we are inside MLOps environment. So the very first thing, guys, to implement this DVC live demo, you need to have DVC installed inside your environment. So what you can do pip install and DVC. Okay, the moment you run this command, it will install a DVC inside your environment. So I have already installed, so I will not run this command. So what next we can do? So I'm going to create a new directory. So using mkdir, so DVC demo. Okay, and let's go inside DVC demo. So this is a freshly created repository. Okay, so this is the folder or our local working directory. Next thing is you need to go to GitHub, and there you can create a new repository so that our all the reference or local files will reference or pointer files will store in the Git repository, and actual data will be stored in GS bucket. Okay, Google bucket. So let me create a repository here. So I give it a name DVC demo, and then let me keep it private. Okay, so and no need to do anything else, just create a blank repository. So now it is going to create a blank repository. Okay, and then we'll follow these commands, because here we have created a repository. Okay, and then that will add as a remote into the local working directory. Fine. Okay, so now here we need to initialize two things. One is git init, so that git is initialized, and then another thing is we'll initialize DVC init. Okay, so the moment we did DVC initialize, so DVC is initialized, and now you are ready to run those DVC related commands. Okay, so another thing is so now let's see. So let's go step by step. Okay, we'll not do hurry. So let's run git status, and then now you see the moment we initialized DVC init, it has created these many files. Okay, so it has created a .dvc folder. Inside we have git ignore and then config and dvc ignore files. Okay, so git ignore basically the moment we'll add any data related file which we don't want to commit inside our Git repository, because those the data files could be very large. So that's where in Git ignore, it will have a reference. Okay, don't commit those data files. Okay, and DVC config. So right now, if you see DVC config will be blank. So let me show you /DVC and type config. Okay, so it is okay, we have to type correct spelling. Okay, so there is nothing inside config. Okay, because we have not added any remote to the DVC. Remote means we need to integrate the remote storage. It will be cloud storage, or it could be local to your local machine. Okay, so in a moment we are going to add that remote storage here as well, so that it will start showing that remote path here. Okay, so let's first do one thing. We have initialized Git, and add it to the remote repository in Git. So we have to add two remote repository, one with respect to Git and one with respect to DVC. Okay, so let me add first with respect to this Git. Okay, so we already have these files created. So as I said, these are the pointers reference files. Okay, so in a moment I will show the moment something got created inside that. Right now these all are blank. So we can add git add hyphen all. So it will add everything to the staging area, and then we can commit git commit hyphen m, and this is the initial commit. So let's write initial commit. Okay. So now we have committed these files. Okay, so these are still not pushed. So let me now map it to the main branch, because now since some time Git has Git has started creating a main as a default branch. Before it was a master. So due to some reason, okay, you can read it on the Google. So now it is a main branch. So let me map it to the main branch. So git branch hyphen m and then main. Okay, so now it will start mapping to the main branch, and now we need to add remote. So git remote. So these are basic git commands. You all should be familiar with this. Git remote add origin, and then we can give the path. So path from where you can get from here. Okay, you can copy this git path and then you can paste it here. Okay, so now it will add the origin. So now if I show you git remote hyphen v, it will show you the origin. So remote path. Okay. So now we have added this remote path here. Now what next we can do? We can simply push the local changes to the git repository. So git push hyphen u and origin and main. And we are pushing in the main branch. Okay, so now it has pushed. Now if I just refresh this URL again, so now you will see those DVC and DVC ignore files got created here. Okay, so inside that it all blanks, just some comments. Okay, so we'll see in a moment like what got created inside this, and here inside DVC we have config. So this is also blank right now. Okay, and then inside git ignore. So this is also kind of like config.local temp cache. Okay, only this much. So it is telling like don't commit these details. Okay, to the DVC. So now let's go back. So now one more thing. So let's go back to the original folder. So now we have added git remote directory. We have mapped. Okay. Now next we need to map the storage bucket as well. Okay. So for that I'm using a GS bucket. You can use any other. Command will be ditto same. Okay. There is no change. So let me add. So for that, what we can do basically, we can do DVC and remote add, and we can define the remote name. So I'm just defining gs hyphen remote, and then you can give the path. So gs colon my path is dvc underscore project. So with this name, so let me show you here. So with this name I have created this bucket dvc underscore project inside my Google console. Okay, so this bucket is empty as of now. If there is anything, I will delete, but yeah, it is empty. This is freshly created. Okay, so we are going to use this bucket. So here, what I was telling guys, so this is simply the remote name, and you can give any name, and here you need to set the URL of your remote repository where you want to store the actual data, physical files. Okay, this could be your Google Drive, this could be a S3 bucket, this could be any other storage, this could be your local path as well. Okay, you can define whatever you want. Okay, and let me run this. So now, guys, one more thing here, as I was telling, to access this GS bucket, you need to have authentication already set. So for that, what you can do basically, you can run gcloud cloud auth login. Okay, you can run this command so that it will authenticate your bucket with the help of browser and your email ID. Okay, so this is a separate thing. If you have some doubt in authenticating GS bucket, let me know using the comment and I will help you. Okay, so I have already configured GS util and all those things. That's where I am able to access this thing. Okay, and from here also, if you run GS util and ls and do this GS path. Okay, so DVC underscore project. Then it will show blank. There is nothing inside that as of now. Okay, so what it's just telling, okay, so just a minute. Okay, it's not GVC product, it's a DVC project, right? So we have given a wrong path. So DVC project. Yeah. So now there is nothing inside this bucket. Okay, that's fine. So in a moment we are going to add. So now in our DVC demo, so in this path, if I show you, just a minute, let me open, or you can see here itself. Okay. So there is nothing here. Okay. We have not kept any data file. Okay? So now let's copy a data file into our uh, location. So we'll go to that location. So if you see here inside browser, sorry, in this Windows folder, so we have .dvc ignore. Here I'm copying a data file. Okay, so this diabetes CSV file. So this has this diabetes data set. Okay, so to predict whether a person has diabetes or not. Okay, so I'm not going to predict. Basically, this is not the scope for this video. So this is simple data file. Okay, so once you have done the versioning, and then later you can just proceed with a model training. So after that, we can also have an end-to-end video for that. That's not a problem. Okay, so now I have copied this data file here. Now if you see Git status, so now you see like, okay, DVC config file is modified and diabetes one CSV is created. So why DVC config file is modified? Because we have added a remote repository for data storage, right? So let's go to DVC and see what is there. Type config. So now you see here a remote name is GS remote, and then a remote URL is like this URL. So that's where config file is updated. That's where if you run git status, that's where it is showing, okay, this file is modified and we have also added this data set. So now next thing is like what you need to do. You need to add this data file to the remote storage bucket. Okay, so that our GS bucket in our case. So what we'll do DVC add and this diabetes. So this is the same as a git add command. So it will simply stage, it will put diabetes CSV into the staging area, and then later we need to also run the push command. Okay, so the moment I run this command, so what you will see, it will also create a diabetes 1.csv.dvc file, that pointer file, which will map to this actual data set. Okay, as I said, all the pointers or configuration or reference related file, those are small files, we will push to the Git repository, and actual data set, those are large files, will push to the storage repository. Okay, so let me run this. So I ran this command, and now let me show you Git status. So now you see here, so this .dvc file got created, right? And then we already have git ignore, and then this config file. Okay, so now we got the git ignore as well. So if you do type .git ignore, so DVC add command create these two files. Okay, so now if you do type git ignore, then it will show you, okay, it has a diabetes 1 CSV entry created. It means whenever I am doing git commit, it will not commit anything which is inside git ignore. Okay, so that's a simple git logic. Okay, so now we have these DVC files created. So the next thing is like simply we'll need to do DVC push. So before doing push, let me show you again this bucket. So right now there won't be anything in the bucket. It should be empty. Okay, it is empty. The moment I will do push, it will create an entry there. So DVC push. Yeah, it is pushing. So here again, if you have not authenticated your GS buckets, you might see some authentication related error. Okay, so you need to handle that one. You need to authenticate. So if you are facing any problem, just let me know. So now one file is pushed. So now if I go here and let me refresh this. See, so one file got created here. So again, guys, so in DVC, add the actual data set in terms of binaries. So binary large object, blob object gets created and binaries gets uploaded into the your storage repository in the cloud. Okay, so now we have pushed that one. Again, see git status if any other file got created or something. So no, so that now you see like diabetes.csv file is already pushed to our DVC. So that is not here, and then we have these files to be added to the git. Okay, so now let me add all these things to the git, because all these are pointers file. I have already shown you. So, I'm sorry, what I did, git all. Okay, it has added everything, and now we need to commit. Okay, committing first version DB. Okay, so let me put underscore. Okay, so we have committed this, and then next we can push this. So we can also add a tag, git tag, and v1.0. We have created tag as well, so that later we can pull a specific version of dataset with the help of this tag. So git push. Okay, we are pushing into the main branch. So let's see. Yeah, it has pushed. Now, if you just come here and go to your Git repository and refresh, so all those extra files we got created here. Okay, so like if you just open this one, then it will have a reference to your original data set. Okay, and if you come back and if you see git ignore, so it has this one, so it is telling you, okay, don't commit this file because that is anyway going to your remote repository, and DVC ignore will not have anything. We can add anything if you don't want to commit into the DVC repository. Okay, so those files we can run. I mean, we can mention here, and inside DVC we have config. So here it is a remote location, basically what is your remote. Okay, and let's see in DVC ignore. Okay, so all these things temp related. Okay, anything you can mention what you don't want to come into the DVC, so that you can mention. So now we have this thing. So first version of data already maintained. So what also we need to do? We need to do git push hyphen tag, because before that, if I show you into the git, so there is no tag got created. Okay, so we need to push that tag as well. Okay, so now tag got pushed as well, and now if I refresh, so we'll see that there is a tag information as well, like here. Okay, so if you go here, so tag is also maintained v1.0. Okay, so with this tag we can pull. Okay, so now let me so everything is got pushed, and here if you do git status, so there is nothing, and if you do DVC status, there is nothing. Everything is clean. Okay, so everything is up to date. We have also seen one folder got created in GS bucket. Now, next thing, let's manually modify this diabetes data set. Okay, here, let's modify this. So I'm opening this, and what we will do, okay, let's delete some of the files from here. Okay, so now I'm deleting. Okay, so now it is start from 27, second file. Okay, now let me save it. I've saved, let me close it. Okay, so now if you come here and do git status, okay, there is nothing. And if you do DVC status, why git is because that diabetes CSV file is not maintained into the git, only the reference is maintained. So if any changes it in the database, it will reflect using DVC status. Now you see here, diabetes 1.csv is modified, it's updated, right? So what you need to do, you need to immediately add it to the remote. Okay, into the remote storage. What you can do, remote git add this thing. So it will add, and then you need to do DVC push. Okay, now I pushed this, so it is pushing another file as well. Okay, and now if I go to here, our this bucket, and I refresh, so another folder will get created here. So now you see here, two folders got. First it was C with random name, and now it got 20, this folder as well. Okay, so this version is maintained, and I will show you by switching into the respective version, okay, in a moment. So now if I do git status, so now git status will have some modified files like DVC. Okay, so same diabetes 1.c, because we have updated the same file, so that's where same DVC file will get updated here. So we need to add this as well into our git. So now git commit -m second version DB. Okay, so you can write any message. Now I committed, and then now you can do git push -u origin main. Okay, I'm just pushing, and then I can also maintain the tag 1.0. Sorry, it is 2.0, and then we can push the tag as well. Okay, now if you see here, this we have already seen into GS bucket, and now if I refresh our git as well, so now if you see here, so we have two tags. Okay, and inside this main branch, we have two tags, and okay, let me go to the tag. And with respect to, so 2.0 is having the latest data version, and 1.0 is having the previous, that first version. Okay. Now here, if you see, so currently, uh, so recently we have committed this 2.0, right? So here, if you just open, so we are inside the latest version of dataset. So latest version is residing in our working directory starting from 27, right? So now what we did, we just changed the version one of the dataset. We removed some files, and then we again pushed to our remote repository, that is the GS bucket. Okay, and then we committed all the reference file to our Git. So that's what we have seen. Now the next thing is like we need to do pull the first version. So for that, what we need to do, we need to do git checkout. Yeah, git checkout v1.0. Okay, because we have maintained this tag, right? So git checkout v1.0 checkout. Yeah, spelling is correct. So now we are in that so now, yeah, it's showing, okay, switching to v1.0. Okay, now after switching to that tag, we can simply do dvc pull. Okay, so the moment I run dvc pull, it will pull the latest the version 1 data, because we are in that v1.0 tag. Okay, so let me run this. Okay, now, yeah, see. So now you see here, it is telling, okay, one file modified and diabetes 1.csv. It means it has pulled the old version. So now if I just refresh this and open this diabetes 1.csv, you will see the old data. Now you see it's starting from 19. Okay, and the second version, we have deleted these files and these rows, and the data starts from 27. Now we can again switch back to that version 2. What we can do, we can do git checkout v2.0. Okay, and then we can do dvc pull. Okay, so now let's see. Yeah, so it is starting with 27, right? So this is how you can switch between different versions of data. Now, if again, suppose you want to go to version 1, you can simply do git checkout v1.0 and make sure your tags are correct. And then you can do dvc pull. Okay, and using dvc pull, okay, what is this? Okay, it is being used. Sorry, we have to close this. Okay, now if I run this again, dvc pull, it will work. Yeah, now it worked. And now if you open this, let me refresh. Okay, and open. So now this should be starting from 27, because we are in version. Okay, which version we were there? So we were version 1. Okay, so it will be starting from 19. So basically, version 1 is start from 19. Okay, so this is how you can basically switch between versions, and then whatever version you start creating your model, you can work further. Okay, so that's it for today's DVC concept, guys. And one more thing I'm reiterating, basically, if you have some problem in authenticating GS bucket, let me know. I will help you. But as I said, you can use any other remote storage for storing your data and maintaining the version. So the idea is like all the reference pointer related files will be stored in Git. That's what we have seen here. Git ignore all these things. Okay, DVC pointers, and then actual data set in terms of binaries will be stored here. As you see, like we have created two versions of the data. That's why two folders got created. Okay, so that's it for today's video.